still have more to do. And please, please, let's not start taking steps backwards after all this hard work. Now, Washington, that's not true. All we're going to hear tonight about the big challenges we face as a nation is a lot of hot air, not only from Congress, but from the White House as well. The State of the Union will not be a call to action tonight. It'll be a fantasy wish list by a president who's failed us. It's the world as he wishes it was, not the real world his failed leadership has left to all Americans. And for the last 6 years, we've done it differently in New Jersey. A lot of people in this room, a lot of people, have shown the courage to set aside partisan differences and achieve real progress. So to all those who have chosen to reach out across the aisle, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for our state. Now we face a truly dangerous moment, at least from my perspective. We've got elections for a new governor and the entire legislature less than 2 years away. So now all of you have a choice. Do we keep working to get things done and to move New Jersey forward? Or are we going to pander to special interests and send New Jersey back to the bad old days? Unfortunately, we see signs of this already. Signs of fiscal irresponsibility to pander to a cynical leadership of a narrow constituency. We can't let this happen. We need to keep making progress as a state. We've got to hold each other to a higher standard today. So will you support practical, common sense ideas that the vast majority of our people believe in and need us to do? Or will you go for short-sighted, politically motivated, fiscally reckless policies that'll destroy our state? In the process, we will drive even more citizens out of New Jersey. How will we drive citizens from our state? What irresponsible policies am I talking about? Let's not be vague. Let's be clear, let's be specific about the course you may pursue and the cost to our state and our citizens. You have begun the pursuit of a constitutional amendment to guarantee pension payments over all other types of state spending. All other types of state spending. Ahead of funding for our hospitals, ahead of support for our colleges and universities, ahead of taking care of people with disabilities, ahead of paying for Medicaid, ahead of rebuilding our roads and bridges, ahead of jailing criminals, ahead of replenishing our beaches, ahead of feeding the most needy, ahead of protecting our children from abuse, ahead of helping children with autism, ahead of funding cancer research, ahead of paying for Homeland Security for New Jersey's mass transit system. Seems ridiculous. How can I possibly say that? Well, because none of the spending I just talked about, none of it is guaranteed by the Constitution. All those issues, education, health care, crime, our environment, support for the poor, protection for our children, would be subject to elimination to pay for the pensions of 800,000 current and former public employees. The health, the welfare, and the security and success of the other 8.1 million New Jerseyans become second-class concerns. Pensions reign supreme. 8.1 million New Jerseyans would become second-class citizens. Public pensioners would become a special class of citizens whose retirement is protected above all other public concerns, protected from recession, protected even from natural disaster. All of that, all of it, would be in line behind union-negotiated pensions, way behind in line. Now, if you say no, never, you would never eliminate that spending to pay for pensions, never hurt people with disabilities to protect pensions, never deprive students in higher education to protect pensions, never diminish health care to protect pensions, never let criminals leave prison early to protect pensions, never let our roads and bridges crumble and fall to protect pensions, never let people go hungry, never let children fall into abuse. Well, if that's your position, then there's only one road you can travel down to avoid the brutal spending cuts that will deprive New Jerseyans of all of those things and more. And unfortunately, it is a road many of you have traveled down before. Now I'm going to tell New Jerseyans what that road will look like for them. You see, to pay for this constitutional amendment and not savage the lives of all New Jerseyans, needy and hopeful, hardworking and retired, you must impose a massive tax increase on New Jersey citizens. How massive? It will require $3 billion to pay for your amendment. So I want to ask each of you who voted for this amendment just 24 hours ago, who are you going to steal the money from in New Jersey?